Welcome back. You are watching Capital Connection, and before the break, we were discussing, of course, that which party has a chance to win this election. Mr. Rauf Hassan, we have so many pre-election surveys and analysis. In your view, who is your actually winner in this election?
It's very difficult to make a prediction at this point in time. I think it's going to be a close race between PTI and PMLN. The potential People's Party should not have any pretensions that they have a chance of winning outside Sindh. They're not going to. So basically, it's a race in Punjab, and it's a race between PTI and PMLN, and it's a close race. But I think PTI has an edge. At the end of the day, they have an edge because they also are very popular in KP. And I think they're going to, by an average appraisal, I think they're going to end up with something like 25 seats.
And do you think that allegations of pre-poll rigging and political engineering has any impact on this election?
I wanted to
results?
comment on that. Actually, Ann made that point, and I think it's a very valid point. I think an overkill of institutional involvement, will undermine the results of the elections. Even if PTI were to win genuinely, and I feel that they have a fair chance of winning in a genuine contest, but if they were to win under the present circumstances, with the perceptions, the way you've talked about them and other friends have talked about them, with this kind of rampant perception, I think it will definitely have a question mark raised against their victory.
And I think just 2 days to go to the elections.
And this is not.
Do you think that at this point in time, anything can be done to dispel that impression?
I don't think it. I think it's too late for that. I think what had to happen has happened, and this question mark has been created, and I think it has been wonderfully exploited by PMLN. They have. This is not a political race that they are fighting. It's a legal cum political race. They've turned this into a legal cum political race. So
and they have every right, because they are the political parties. They can
I would like to debate this question of right. If we have time at a later stage, I would like to debate it, because I think politicization of everything, like I said before, for example, politicization of institutions in this country, have undermined the interest of the state, and it continues to undermine the interest of the state.
The problem is that when you convict a person who was Prime Minister for 3 times, don't you think that even if he is convicted fairly, it is always political questions that would be asked?
No, I'm sorry. It should not be a political question. I think because once you are a convict, once you are convicted of a crime, then you are just an ordinary criminal.
But given Pakistan's history, you know that how actually court works in Pakistan.
I understand. I am very sensitive to that, and the courts should not function. Consequently, my contention that the courts must continue to function the way they're functioning now, and they should work in an indiscriminate manner. And Pakistan's state institutions also should work in an indiscriminate manner. But this excessive politicization of things, is it, like I've written in one of my articles also, I mean, is the decision regarding whether he has committed those crimes or not going to be decided by a motley crowd of 15,000 who he gathers, or is people gather, or is it going to be decided in a court of law? If it is going to be decided in a court of law, then his continuous hollering, that my fate is going to be decided by people on the 25th of July. It is out of context, and it is. I think this is not something which a person who has been Prime Minister 3 times should be raising. I think he should be more concerned about the interest of the state. And this is in fact my core difference with the way this narrative is being perpetrated. So I don't think this is the way. There are things which belong to the courts. There are things which belong to the political domain. There are things which belong to other institutions.
But in Pakistan, things are so complicated that you can't actually. Isolate one development from the other. But coming back to the question of which party has a chance to win the elections, do you think that PMLN can still spring a surprise, or as Mr. Rauf Sahab pointed out, that PTI has a fair chance, even some pre-election surveys suggest the same?
Though PTI, I have a fair chance, but I don't think that any party is going to get even simple majority. Everybody, just recently we have seen this survey of SDPI where they're saying still 13% people, they are undecided. They would vote, but they're still undecided. PTI is leading with 27%, PMLN with 25%, and People's Party is with 20% national wise. In Punjab, PMLN is leading. So all those surveys saying that in Punjab we have very close contest. Two parties we are not discussing which are going to spoil these elections for PMLN is Tehreek-e-Labbaik and Jamaat-ud-Dawaz. Those 2 political parties poles apart when it comes to ideological
I would
grounds.
strongly recommend that you don't call them political parties.
But
because
they are
frankly,
contesting.
not. I mean,
But
it's
you know, the
enough
goal
travesty,
is,
you know,
but
that
the
they have been-
goal is one,
I understand that.
and that is to cut the vote of Nawaz Sharif, PMLN. Tehreek-e-Labbaik going to cut, which most of the people saying 7 to 15,000 votes, and MML going to around
But if
5,000
you recall,
votes.
we have the by-elections even before that, and even Tehreek-e-Labbaik fielded their candidates, yet PMLN won those elections. So you can't really say with certainty that whether those votes would actually at the disadvantage of the PMLN. It
They were
could
bi-
be PTI as well.
They were by-elections, PMLN, they were in government
Oh, in the government.
in the
That's
federal
different.
and in
There's another
Punjab as
dynamics are
well.
totally different.
So you know, it makes
Okay,
it totally the question has totally changed right now.
Let me bring in Wasim also. I mean, who is your winner? I mean, I know that situation is very fluid, but still, I mean,
You know, we are not in a prediction business, being journalists, but I think
but at
there's
least
a tight
we can
race.
connect the dots and based on the
Yes,
circumstantial
yeah,
evidence, we
I can talk about the current political situation and who is winning and who has a strong support. The factors that are raised by On are also valid, but there is another factor that is being ignored. You know, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has been gathering massive support in Punjab. So where this support will go? You know, the vote bank, people say the vote bank of PTI and People's Party is intermingled now, and the more votes Bilawal is going to get will will decrease the vote bank of PTI, and it will eventually benefit Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. So it may balance out the votes of Tehreek-e-Labbaik and other parties.
Will it be a close race, or do you think that PMLN can still retain majority in Punjab province, given
think
all
it
the
is-
troubles that they have faced recently?
I think it's too early to call. It is a close race, and there are other factors like pre-poll rigging allegations and other things that are going to decide actually what happens on 25th of July.
But again, Imran Khan has also pointed out that he wants absolute majority, given the fact the kind of problems that you are facing both on the economic front and on the security front. And he says that if there is a hung parliament, then he would rather prefer sitting on the opposition benches rather than shaking hands with the likes of Zardari and also with Sharifs. Do you think that there is a possibility that he can get the absolute majority?
I don't know whether he can get an absolute majority or not, but I couldn't agree with him more. I think what we need in Pakistan is a very strong government. There is no denying that reality, because we have so many issues which a loose coalition or a weak coalition will not be able to address. For example, look at a scenario, and this is something that I've been projecting, you know, both in my talk shows as well as in my articles. You know, it appears that Imran Khan, you know, will be kept on course through two different forces which have been created. One, the electables which have been pushed into his political party, and the other is the independent group, you know, which possibly shall run away with about 20 seats or so. So I look forward to the prospect of a coalition between PTI and the independents, and this is going to be a very weak government, because Imran is trusted and Imran is not trusted.
But on a lighter note, some people believe that this is actually the script.
No,
Because even
whether it is the script.
if Imran Khan is to be made the prime minister, he should be very weak prime minister.
Look, I would not like to discuss it in the context of whether it is the script or not. It may very well be a script, you know, but I'm discussing it in the context of my analysis that this to me appears to be what may happen. And if this happens, and let's say Imran has 90 seats or 85 seats or 80 seats, as most of the pundits are predicting, I feel that is not going to be good for democracy, and that is not going to be a conduit to constituting a government, you know, that should be able to address the issues that Pakistan faces today in an effective manner. So what we need in Pakistan today, whether it is PMLN or People's Party or PTI or anybody else, I think what we need is a strong government, a government which has the numbers to take decisions and to push them through the parliament.
We don't
That's very
foresee a
important.
strong government on at the moment.
No.
Rather, people say that even if Imran Khan becomes the prime minister, he may have to face a very stiff opposition from the PMLN.
Definitely, not only from PMLN but also Pakistan People's Party. We haven't discussed Maulana Fazlur Rahman. You know, on his side, who would be on his side?
Nobody.
Balochistan Awami Party, BAP, GDA, and independents. Independents, they will have to merge themselves with the party, whether they are going to. But the kind of scenario which is being, you know, people discussing that there may be another Vattu style, you know, kind of scenario where some independent with 20-25 seats, they'll have to give.
Let's be more current about it.
Chief
Chaudhry Nisar
ministership-
style.
Chief ministership of Punjab, which
Sanjirani
would be
model.
Chaudhry Nisar could be the new Vattu of Punjab, and then they give their support to Imran Khan in federal government. But in either case, this is going to be the weakest government, which is going to have so many problems on so many fronts, but
Absolutely.
also the legitimacy problem. And then Imran Khan is not friendly to the parliament as well. You know, he don't know how to tackle the parliamentary business. He has never been to parliament during last 5 years. He didn't avail that
Imran Khan
opportunity.
is also known for taking U-turns, because on number of issues he has actually backtracked, and some people believe that though at this point in time he is saying that he may not form the government with People's Party, he may still, you know, have a coalition government with the People's Party, because politics is the art of possibilities. Wasim?
Absolutely. We have seen this in Senate elections, you know, People's Party and PTI were on the same page despite denying this for days before the elections. So it is still possible, I think. And if the things are being managed somewhere else, it is very strong possibility that a strong coalition government emerges. I know one thing is certain, as my other panelists said, that there is going to be a hung parliament. There is not going to be an outright majority for any political party, and that government is easy to manage for other forces, and it is easy to keep on toes.
But
this
still, I
kind of
think
parliament.
even in 2013 elections, there were pre-election analysis, and even at that time, many people predicted that there would be hung parliament.
But there
Yet
was not.
The PMLN won absolute majority. So still, there may be some surprises. We will discuss after this short break.